Now on this channel there are two specific genres of content that you guys absolutely eat up. One being Midas videos and another being 0 point theories. Yes, that is right. 0 point theories are back in the big 2025. And we're going to not just focus on making trash music anymore on this channel. Now, before I get started on today's 0 point theory, make sure you like and subscribe so we can hit our goal of 800 subs. I've been trying to hit this for a while now, so please, every sub counts. We have less than 25 subs away. Anyway, talking about that video, right? We got a 0 point shard on the chapter 6 map. Now, this may come as no surprise. It really shouldn't, because this thing has been here for a while. But it's not the only one, because let's face it, right? We know the 0 point had many more pieces than just one. Now you might be thinking to yourself, why would only one 0 point shard show up and then nothing else would happen? That doesn't really make too much sense. So they just kind of show up. That's not what Fortnite does. I mean, it's obviously some foreshadowing. It's what everything is, right? Kevin the Cube, well, came back later. People thought it was just some kind of weird one-off thing. Well, it was not. It opened up a whole new can of worms later on. But the point is, we should not ignore these things when they just show up like this, right? Remember the 7? Remember the visitor? He kind of just dipped out at the end of chapter 1, but should we have counted them out? Absolutely not, because they came back mid-chapter 2, and they were especially significant mid-chapter 3. Now, when this thing shows up, right, season 1, kick off the chapter essentially, I can probably say with a lot of confidence that there's gonna be more of these things coming up. And see, the thing is, I have a feeling the last reality is gonna be tied into this, because remember those guys? They tried to like steal the 0 point so many times. They sent one cube to do it, and it basically just blew up. It didn't blow up hard enough. It was like and busted all over Loot Lake, but did not make a big enough impact. Could not explode hard enough all over Loot Lake to get inside and get the 0 point. So what they do later, they waited a long time and they sent out a bunch of more cubes, and then the mothership rolled up before that, trying to get it. Sorry, but they couldn't get it because the 0 point was really hard to find. So then they put bombs on the 0 point, which is some of the cubes on there, and the cubes tried to get it, but they couldn't get it either because the island flipped over, and then they kind of just disappeared after that. But then they came back as the Chrome. And then they were thinking to themselves, rather than just trying to steal the 0 point out of the island, let's just destroy the entire island. So you know what they did? With that Chrome, they slowly did that. That crap just was like a parasite and consumed the island. And then they did destroy it, but there wasn't really a cutscene of them trying to get it. But they couldn't get it because the 0 point said, you know what, I'm out, bitch. And it just kind of left the mothership that tried to abduct it. However, despite the fact that this mothership blew up in the deleted cutscene, there are far more motherships out there. We know that as a fact. We've known this for years now. And that's kind of the last we heard about these guys, right? The last reality really hasn't come back all that much. They've just kind of been sort of in the shadow since then. It's been a long time, right? That was like end of, I guess, say 2022 when that occurred. Now we're in the big 2025, so 2.5 years. I'd say, yeah, they're probably gonna come back, because remember, right? They were unsuccessful again, but they usually try to change things up, spice things up. So I figured, okay, fine, the 0 point's gonna escape from us, then we'll just wait for that thing just to not exist anymore. And what do you know? At the end of chapter 4, at the end of the chapter 1 thing, the 0 point's like, no, and it exploded again. Like the end, but this time it had a big bang where it just shot all of this stuff all over the multiverse. So it was like, bah! And all the 0 point shards just cascaded all over the place. And I might be thinking, well, it created the Omniverse. Well, no, it didn't create the Omniverse. No, it didn't. The thing is, existed before. We've seen it before. If you remember that particular trailer with Season X, yep, Jonesy was just floating through the multiverse, the Omniverse, looking at all the dudes hopping on, like the brutes and the pirates and the DJ Llama Yamas and various other things. But point is, right, there's a lot of other 0 point fragments that are probably going to be out there, and I have a feeling that the last reality is gathering them all up, like they're the Dragon Balls, and they're gonna bring together all the 0 Point shards. But remember, we have one on the island, and Jonesy knows that there's multiple ones out there. And if you don't believe me, you can see some of his voice lines when we meet him. Sorry, I'm really tired. But this season, when we meet him, we really do see that he does know that there are more 0 Point shards. He is on the island with us, and well, just like anybody on the island, wants to keep control of the 0 Point because it's for the greater good of the entire universe. This thing is basically like the key to the city, but the city was Omniverse. Like with this thing, you can literally control all of existence, and it is important that that he gets to the rest of the pieces before the last reality can. Now, what about the 7? Right, the 7 wanted control of this thing as well. Remember, right? Those guys kind of died. Damn, I'll be honest with you, they died. But the Foundation, we never really saw him die. Because let's remember, right? The scientist got consumed by this stuff. I forgot what was his name. The Visitor got consumed by this stuff. But the Paradigm was also there. Wait, I forgot. The Origin was also consumed. Which kind of left 4 more 7 members left. There were the Paradigm, which we saw kind of just drifting through chapter 4 and then proceeded to just dip out. We didn't really know what happened after that. Could be here, right? Because remember, I mean, if Midas was able to go around all the time, I'm pretty sure Paradigm would be able to as well. Then we also had the Twins, the Imagined, and the Order. They're kind of still out there somewhere. Then, last but not least, the Foundation, the leader of the 7, the big Mambo Jumbo. Now, we never really kind of saw him after the whole, chapter 3 season 2, which was really a while ago. This was like, darn, we are getting old, aren't we? That's 3 years ago. But the idea is, if you remember that bunker, the Foundation's bunker, the Foundation statue never opened, but also the Chrome never touched that door. And people were thinking that he was in there, but then nothing really came of that. So odds are he's probably out there. I mean, this guy has survived a lot, to be fair. He did survive, being inside the 0 Point for a whole season. And then when the 0 Point got, eviscerated by Last Reality, sorry, the what was it called? The Spire. The 0 Point kind of just, teleported away or something. I'm not sure. But he ended up getting flung into the ocean. And then he stayed under the ocean for a whole another season. But then he woke up, just took a little nap. So I think that this guy could probably just maybe have survived the big boom of the island with the fracture event, and that he's still out there somewhere, and he's also trying to collect the Dragon Balls here, because the Omniverse is a very vast place, and those 0 Point shards could be in a lot of different places, a lot of different realities. Just one came to this one. It's the reality we're on is not reality 0, because reality 0 does not exist anymore. But what does exist is all those shards, all those pieces in other realities. Remember, we got a lot of realities out there, and certainly the 0 Point is, the 0 Point shards are definitely being hunted by probably not just the 7 or the last reality. There could be some new stuff out there that we haven't even explored yet. I mean, to be fair, this is Fortnite. The possibilities really are endless. Anyway, this is going to be the end of this video. If you enjoyed, make sure to like and subscribe so we can hit our goal of 800 subs. And I will see you in the next one. Peace.